Check 1, 2, 3. Gonna get started. Red light is on. Citizens, what's up? It's President Awall here, bringing you some daily Star Wars Force Arena content live in a studio. So you're probably gonna hear a nice little echo going. Regardless, we've got a Boba Fett 1v1 deck that I'm gonna be taking to the ladder, and I wanted to show this one to you. And I'm really excited about this deck. I have been testing some Rebel decks, just so you guys know. I've been testing out this Lando Calrissian deck. Last night, when I was looking at the ladder, lots and lots of big Empire decks at the top of the ladder. I was running into these Kyber players, losing a lot of games. Anyway, this Boba Fett deck is really, really fun, and so I want to show you how this one is working for me. This is very similar, if not exactly the same, as the previous deck that I was doing, and it's really killing it on the ladder. So I'm hoping to get up to about 4,000 rank or so today. Thank you to everybody who has come live. What's up? We've got some Koreans here in chat. What's up, guys? This is the basic concept of this deck. It has really nice area of effect options to deal with that heavy Rebel pressure, which still seems to be a part of the meta. And those area of effect options include Dewback Trooper, which is a great replacement for something like a Probe Droid. I also have Sand Trooper, which still for me is a staple of all of my decks on the Empire side. I'm having a hard time pulling this card out. I also have Slave 1, which is amazing for taking care of Gonk Droids and for even Suicide Lukes or any extremely high pressure decks that I'm getting out there on the Rebel side. And in addition to that, I've got some beautiful area of effect damage here from Missile Strike from Boba Fett, and it's working out pretty great. I also have the ability to kill heroes because of my target acquired passive. In addition to my stun grenade, you can combo those two cards together. You can stun the enemy, you can focus them in terms of damage. And I've got some great single target damage options on this deck, including the best melee single target damage option that's out there. In my opinion, it's amazing. Bladesman does 153 damage per second per guy, which is great. And also have MTV7 light vehicle and Stormtroopers. Really, really great 2-cost single target damage range option. It's a really well balanced deck. It performs pretty consistently, and I'm hoping that I can show you guys some great gameplay. I do have a level 2 Slave 1. It does 367 damage to leaders and squads, so I'm able to take out, even to a certain extent, Rebel Pathfinders with this card, and some of those kind of mid-range HP cards. And let's just take it straight into some 1v1s. Hopefully my interwebs hold up in this particular stream. Last time I was playing Boba Fett here, I got some pretty rough internet connections here in the studio. I'm trying to work out those kinks. So let's see if it works out. And yeah, I have 2,000 crystals. What's going on, guys? I do have 2,000 crystals. I haven't used them yet. Some of you guys were telling me in the comments that I should wait to use those crystals until I reach Kyber, which I'm going to totally agree with, because you get even more value when you use and when you open any number of packs, the higher up in tiers that you get. I'm probably going to save my crystals. I'm just using them for credits at the moment and just upgrading cards. And probably going to do another diamond packs opening or something like that, platinum packs opening on the channel. Once I actually reach Kyber, which hopefully I'll be able to do that within the next few weeks. So some of you guys are asking what do you use instead of Slave 1? That's a question I get a lot when you don't have the unique. Slave 1 does that area of effect damage. It's got a pretty long deploy time. It's almost instantaneous, but you can use a Dioxis grenade in lieu. You can also use for lower level players, you've got something like TIE Fighter, which is great, that you can use as a replacement. So consider those options. You take a drink of coffee here. It's early morning where I'm at. All right. So with this deck, you're looking to play pretty defensively, generally speaking. And as you guys know on these streams, I've tested out, good luck to this player, but I've tested out this deck. I've tried an offensive version of any number of Empire decks, and this character, Boba Fett, does great for defensive purposes, and so I'm going to stay relatively passive and relatively defensive when I'm playing this one, and hopefully that will allow me to win as many games as possible. So they've got Gonk Droid here, and a great counter for Gonk Droid is these bladesmen, which can do that beautiful single target damage that you're looking for. And what I'm going to do is just pop over the wall here, use my grenade and pop back, or my missile strike rather, and pop back, forcing the enemy hero to essentially use their health packs early game. Going to try to get those on cooldown, because essentially you're going to pick out the win, or you're going to pick up a win with this deck when you are able to effectively counterattack. That's the idea. I'm going to drop Dewback Trooper here in the back, just trying to use my energy early game, and I've noticed that defensive play is very, very popular in almost all decks, and I'm going to continue to play defensively myself. And we'll see if, you know, enemies out there are going to be playing more offensive. I'm able to kind of punish that offensive play pretty regularly. As you can see, he's using Ion Mine in the top lane to take out the majority of that mob that I had, and we're good. This is one thing where in the past I've gotten way too aggressive and I've got way too offensive and I lose games. And I'd rather get a draw with this deck than a loss, of course. And that's something that I'm going to continue to do moving forward. With that turret there, I think just dropping a Dewback Trooper here, saving my energy and waiting to be defensive is going to be the way to go. And this is the point where I think the enemy is going to try to do some sort of nice counter push. I've already got a slight turret advantage. I'm doing some damage to their turret. And what I'm going to do is jump over the hill here. He tried to Ion Mine me to be cute. And just jumping over and doing that quick missile strike is something that really, really works for me. And it's really, really fun. So with this turret here, it's actually pretty good positioning on the turret. So I'm just going to wait. I'm going to drop Slave 1 and see if I can pick up his hero. Didn't get his hero. I'm going to take out the Pathfinders. And as you can see, I'm always got a nice full energy bar, and I'm able to hopefully prevent any major mistakes from happening. And if we go into a draw or we go into overtime, I should be able to deal with it pretty well. Let's see what he's got here in the bottom lane. Another Gonk Droid. No, I'm just gonna go ahead and deal with that. Drop a vehicle here in the top lane for defensive purposes, and we're just kind of moving in. We're just being careful. We're being conservative. Gonna just be careful here and dropping my missile strike. This is the way to play this deck in my experience. Whoa, that's actually, that Gonk Droid almost slipped through my defenses there. I almost picked up some serious damage from letting that Gonk Droid get through, and that's a piece of feedback that you guys have been giving me on the channel pretty regularly, that I should stop letting Gonk Droids wreck me. I totally agree. Letting Gonk Droids wreck you is a demoralizing way to lose. And so I think that we're going to see a pretty big late game push here from the enemy. He's going to try to pick up the W, and I'm just going to be careful and make sure that I don't lose. And let's see what happens here. These Rebel Pathfinders moving in on this. Not really sure if the enemy's going to be able to push in, to be perfectly honest. And we might just wait for him to deploy a little bit too many units here. Let's see if we can pull everybody in here. And there's a draw. Cool. I'll take a draw over a loss any day of the week. And could you place the stormtroopers behind the golf cart Dewback, was the comment below. I can do that. Let's go ahead and give this no guild shiz frizzle opponent a thumbs up. And we'll just collect up those play points. And as you can see, I didn't lose that game. That's good stuff. What I could have done is split push the lanes. And by split pushing, I would have potentially made myself vulnerable in the top lane for that late game push from the enemy, and that would have potentially resulted in a loss for me. I've noticed that when I am offensive with Empire decks, especially this deck, I lose more times than not. And so, generally speaking, you're waiting with this deck to wait for the enemy to be overly aggressive so that you can hit them with that Slave 1, you can pull them in, blow them up, and then you can stun them and kill them if they move past the bridge and they move in on your base. The enemy that game did not make that mistake, and so I didn't win. But, most importantly, friends, I did not lose. GG. Wow, that, yep, Sabine skill. Is it Sabine skill with good AoE damage? It's always nice to put a single target plus an AoE push. I agree. Throwing out a naked Dewback Trooper, if you will. That's a weird statement. Naked Dewback Trooper is always fun. Or is not fun, rather. you throw the Dewback out there, it's unable to take care of like those high HP units such as a Wookiee warrior and what have you. And I'm looking to make sure that it doesn't get stopped by a hard counter. I think Wookiee does a great job of hard countering that unit. So let's see what he does here. He's got his Wookiee in the top lane. I'm gonna be careful. I'm gonna save a lot of energy for the inevitable kind of pushback, the inevitable counter that we're gonna see here from this Han Solo. Once the Wookiee goes down, I'm gonna use Missile Strike here and do that nice, ooh, back, careful. Do that nice supplementary damage. I'm gonna drop down Stormtroopers here in this lane, and Dewback should do a pretty good job of countering this. And unfortunately, my stun didn't work on Han, which is a problem. But and he's got a million crit mines here in this lane. Ooh, almost triggered it actually. And we need to be careful. So this is going to be a very difficult game to win. It's going to be very, very difficult. That's a really, really cool placement on the on that trip mine from Han Solo, and I need to be very careful not to run into it and let myself get killed. So what I'm going to do actually is probably drop a MTV-7 light vehicle on top of it, trigger it. The light vehicle can take the damage from that, no problem, and you can get a lot of value out of that. Here comes the missile strike combo, and we were able to take out Han. So this is the part where we get very aggressive and we push the lane. And as Han comes over here to defend this, we actually don't even need to worry about defending. He's going to have to deal with, ooh, wow, he got the light tank in the bottom lane. Really great counter there. Really, really great counter. He's going to do lots and lots of terrible, terrible damage to this bottom lane. And that turret is now extremely vulnerable. So we're going to drop down the Sand Trooper in the top lane. Missile Strike. Sand Trooper should counter the remainder of that. And I now need to be very careful. This Han could counter push and could take me out. Trip mines here in the top lane are going to be difficult to deal with at best. Oh no, light tank, tank, and there it is. And here's the Slave 1. We should be able to take out this Han, doing a stun on top of the Slave 1 damage, and he goes down. That's beautiful. And meanwhile, the bottom lane push happened, and I was able to take that turret down. So at this point, my main objective is to defend the bottom turret. And hopefully, if we can defend it, we can pick up the W here. And as you notice, I haven't jumped over the bridge, really, at any given point, because I'm trying to be extremely careful. And we'll see if this strategy continues to work out. Gonna drop Dewback in the top lane. He's going for that beautiful dual lane push, which Han Solo can do so well, because he's got that amazing area of effect unique trap, and we picked up the W. And as you can see, passive play and counter attack play punish that Han for being a little bit too aggressive. There we go, 1 draw and 1 victory. The question is, how much money have I spent on this game? I did some pack opening videos here recently, and I bought like the maximum crystals pack or whatever. It was $100. And I also tested out one premium booster at pre-release, I believe. And that's all I've spent on this game so far. That and just collecting rewards on a regular basis and using the premium packs as they come in to be able to boost out packs. That's all I've spent so far in this game. So I'm not one of those people that have spent hundreds of dollars, thousands of dollars on packs or investing to try to move up. I'm trying to keep my spend relatively low. And I am basically only going to be buying packs on the channel when it's basically time to show you guys, hey, here's what I think about value when it comes to investing in the shop and different items in the shop. And that's probably going to be the only time that I do it. I don't like being a pay-to-win player. I like maybe buying things here and there when I get the itch, when it's fun, maybe when I can make a great video, and that's going to be about it. Should Dewback get a nerf is the question in the comments. You know, I hope not. I love Dewback. I think that Probe Droid is still a viable option. Oh, I need to be showing the decks. Damn it, I did not show the decks from the enemy. No. I'll do it in the... I always forget. I always get so into the game. But should Dewback get a nerf? Don't know. Arguably, you could say it's better than Probe Droid, but I've still seen Probe Droid be very viable. because of its lower cost. I've seen a number of Grand Moff Tarkin decks out there use Dewback, and those Tarkin decks, or I'm sorry, use Probe Droid rather, and those decks do extremely well. So I don't know. I'll be honest with you. I'm not sure if it needs a nerf. I'm gonna throw my light vehicle in the top lane. We'll see if Han gets something there to pick up the aggro from it quickly. I'm gonna drop Dewback here up front to tank. This is not optimal positioning at all. And let's see if we can drop a Slave 1 here to deal with this Han. And we pull everybody in. There's the Missile Strike combo. And I probably shouldn't have used those Bladesmen to chase Han away. But regardless, this tank is still kind of mucked up here because of this Dewback. And I'm going to take some of the damage. And he's going with that he continues to go with that dual lane push strategy, which is really, really strong for Han players. So he's doing a lot of damage to my bottom structure, which is a problem. And what I'll do is I'll just wait and be defensive. We're just going to drop light vehicle. Looks like he's going to switch his focus to the top lane. I'm going to let this vehicle hopefully be able to pick up or at least like take out the majority of these mines. I'm hoping that my stuff pushes through to take out those mines, and we'll see if this works out for me. We'll see if the Dewback Warrior triggers it. I'm hoping that he does trigger it. And no, game crashes. Many of you guys have said in the comments, my game crashes regularly. Now the computer is playing as me, and hopefully Han does not destroy me. No. This happens to me maybe 1 in 10 games right now, on both my mobile phone and my tablet. Damn. Let's see if we can get back in here and save this game. I really hope he didn't get to pick up that turret that game. That would be really, really disappointing, because I was playing pretty well, and I think I had the opportunity. Oh, and of course, as soon as I come back, I die. Looks like my bottom structure took a bunch of damage. Top structure is pretty vulnerable, and now he's got a pretty decent advantage this game. And oh boy, this is going to be tough to come back from. And he got the turret, of course. He got the turret. Ugh. We'll see if we can come back here. We'll see if we can do it. Not sure if we're going to be able to. So let's see if we can take out this Grenadier here. Grenadier goes down at the very least. Or Grenadier. You guys are... God, you guys have pronounced it in the comments so many times. You're like, really, Awall? Can you not pronounce that card name the correct way? And he ended up picking up the victory because my game crashed. Well, out of the legitimate games that we played so far, 1 draw, 1 win, 1 loss. Yeah, your game never crashes and your phone is weak. I don't think it has to do with the hardware being overloaded. I'm playing on an NVIDIA Shield. So the NVIDIA Shield can easily handle the game. So it's not really a matter of like I ran out of RAM or anything like that. And I've got a program running that allows me to basically clear out my RAM while I'm playing games. As you guys saw, I was using that like Game Booster app. So that's not really the issue. It's more of a software issue, a buggy glitch type of thing that hopefully they'll fix over the coming months. For a game like this, as opposed to something like consoles or whatever, you're going to be, as Netmarble, looking to program your game to work on how many different devices, all those Galaxy devices, all those iPhone devices, all these tablets, iPad minis, the whole nine. And I imagine that there's going to be a lot of testing and a lot of hardware glitches and issues. So, gonk, straight toward the Bantha, you guys are saying? Yeah. You can open up space for your clan, your tier chromium. So yeah, so the way that spaces are opening up in the Citizens Guild or clan is when players have been inactive for 3 days or longer, I will remove them from the guild. I'm looking to keep all active players intact, and I'm regularly removing people from the guild, like maybe a couple a week that have gone relatively inactive, and then I will bring in new people that have applied. We're looking for tier 5 or higher players, and that's pretty much what we're looking at here. So I'm going to save my stuff here to deal with the light tank, and I'm going to let it push in a little bit more for this defense here in the bottom lane. And let's see if he brings in any nice supporting mob units to deal with this. We're going to drop down, That's not what I wanted to see. We're going to drop down Dewback, which is hopefully going to tank a decent amount of damage there. And then we're going to drop down the Stormtroopers to do that supplementary damage. Unfortunately, these Marauders in the top lane did a little bit of poke damage there, but it really wasn't too devastating. And I'm going to save my energy for a defense in this situation. Here we go. Here's the defense. So we're going to drop Slave 1, and we're going to target the Calrissian. And with my superior hero damage, it forces him to pull back. I might have been able to kill him there, and maybe I should have gotten a little bit more aggressive. I might have been able to kill him if I had used my stun, but I didn't. Just being conservative, to be perfectly honest. I'm going to continue to defend in the bottom lane, to drop that light vehicle top, as well as considering dropping Bladesman here, and there it is. And he did. There's the double tank, friends. There is the double tank. So hopefully we'll be able to effectively tank and take these out. Gonna need to drop Dewback Trooper here, and I think I'll be able to defend against that double tank push. And we're doing okay. We are surviving, and I've got a decent little push here in the bottom lane. We'll see. I don't want to get too aggressive. Top lane took a lot of damage from the enemy, which is great. And what I'm looking to do is get a sneaky, maybe like light vehicle push in that top lane, which might result in me winning. We shall see. And let's see what we can do. Slave 1 here is going to be gorgeous. Watch this. Boom. Everybody dies. Gonna drop Stormtroopers in the top lane. And I think those Stormtroopers will actually do enough damage to be able to, there it is, kill that turret. And I'm going to do a little bit of damage. And as soon as Lando comes to the bottom lane, I'm going to back. There it is. So I've got a solid position here to be able to be successful. Wookiee Warrior in the top lane. Should be able to do decently, but with the stun on top of the damage to Lando, we should be able to take that out. Bladesman here to deal with the Wookiee. That was probably a little bit of overkill, to be honest, but I'm okay with that. And what we'll do is maybe just drop a little pot shot here on the structure. Bam, there it is. Taking it out, and he's going to go for this kind of late game push. Don't think he's going to be able to get it, and there's the W. Really consistent performance when you don't get overly aggressive. That light tank nearly took out my turret itself. I know, light tanks are a great offensive method for Rebels. If you go with a quick light tank throw into one lane versus the other, you can get that light tank to take down structures down to half health or more. If it goes unchecked, it can take just 1v1 versus your turret. It can take your turret down to about 30% health on its own with its own single target damage. I still think that light tanks are probably one of the best units in the game. 121 damage per second is okay, but that coupled with its relatively high movement speed, its 2.2 movement speed, and its good attack range at 8.5, that's way above average, and the 22,000 plus health, it is a really dangerous option to pressure structures. And some people elect to use light tank in lieu of something like a Gonk Droid. I think that light tank actually more consistently can pressure structures than a Gonk Droid can. Gonk Droid's something that you're going to want to put in into your deck. If you're looking to do split lane pressure, if you're looking to do a single lane pressure as Rebel, then you're probably going to want to consider light tank as an alternative option. So there you go. You guys are asking who is better, says Keefe in the comments, Rebel or Empire? I think it depends. So I was using this Lando deck, like I mentioned at the top of this stream, this Lando pressure deck. Last night I went 10-0 with it, and then the folks on the ladder, they all switched over to Empire very quickly. And once you're in Erodium or you're in Kyber, and the majority of top players are playing Empire decks, you're going to end up getting match made against them. I was having instant queues against the top players in the world. And so I started losing significant rating points, which is why with this deck, I've decided I can't use Lando right now. If, 2 out of 3 games I'm playing against a Kyber player, somebody who's extremely experienced, it's going to be very, very difficult for me to get any Ws off of those players because they're so skilled, and because all of their Empire decks are obviously kind of designed specifically to deal with things like Lando double lane speed pressure decks. And I've been running into some interesting Tarkin 1v1 decks. I know a lot of people were thinking of Grand Moff Tarkin as a 2v2 only character because of how focused he is on support abilities. And Empire support abilities are, for the most part, area of effect abilities. And he is really strong in 2v2, don't get me wrong, but he can be very good in 1v1, assuming that you don't get too aggressive. And that's something that you have to be really, really careful about with somebody like Tarkin. If you get too aggressive, you will lose most of the time. He's not good at aggression. He's good at punishing aggression. And that's something that you have to keep in mind with a lot of the Empire heroes. The only Empire heroes I've seen that are good at aggression, if you will, are going to be ones like Darth Vader and maybe Agent Callus. Maybe there's more melee-focused ones. But to be perfectly honest, both of those characters or both of those heroes, rather, legendaries, are going to be rewarded. Oh, wow. They're going to be rewarded when they effectively counter-push. So here's a big bum rush. Hopefully Slave 1 will... Nope, and really nice job by Lando there backing up, anticipating that I was going to use Slave 1 on his face. So able to pick up that light tank. Let me see if I can get a pot shot on this Lando. Didn't get one, and wow. Yet another game crash, I guess. Hopefully I don't end up losing in this game. That is actually very uncharacteristic. That's a lot of game crashes in no time flat. Luckily we're early in this game, and hopefully we don't get extremely pressured here while we're reconnecting. Damn. So I might need to consider doing the over-the-air update on my tablet, which might be because I'm using an older operating system for recording purposes. That might be what's causing me issues here with my hardware. Let me know if any of you guys are playing with an NVIDIA Shield tablet. And it looks like he dropped some pressure down in the bottom lane. And he basically, because I had that DC, he got a free, essentially, pressure on my base. He got a free bit of kind of half health on my base. I can still win, but that gave him a little bit of a freebie in that situation. And it looks like my Boba Fett picked up some health while I was gone, and also took some serious damage while I was gone. Fun, fun, fun. JR620 says he likes using both sides. I am going to agree with that. I think using both sides is very fun. And for me, right now, I'm more successful with Empire, but that doesn't mean that Empire is like somehow better or more effective or whatever. Really nice job there. Really nice Ion Mine. Ion Mine is very, very, very dangerous. I've got a lot of single target damage, horrible single target damage that I'm dropping on top of the enemy. The Grenadier did pretty decent damage to me there. I want to make sure I'm not too aggressive in this situation. And I think what I'm going to do is kind of drop back and pick up some health. I think Lando's maybe going to try one more light tank heavy pressure here in this game. And Dewback should be able to take care of this Grenadier pretty handily. And we'll be able to take down this light tank. And here's a good time for a stun. And, oh, I dropped the Stormtroopers down in the middle of that Ion Mine, dropping them down to very, very low health. And that's going to be a problem for me. So maybe we can Slave 1 kill him. No, he anticipates the Slave 1, and he moves back. Really nice job by Lando anticipating that move and being very, very careful, knowing that Boba Fett is so effective at dealing damage to single targets. And let's see if we can drop just some sneaky bladesmen here on the back line. And there it is, picking it up. So let's move in on this base. Let's see if we can get this turret quickly. And what we're going to do is once he gets close, we're going to stun him. There it is. And we're going to pick up the turret. There it is. GG. Picked it up despite the game crash, friends. Despite the game. Am I good with Bosk, and have I ever played him? Yes. And am I good with him? I'm okay with him. I played him a lot in pre-release. I did a Bosk video here on the channel. Like a Bosk, I think was the name of it. And Bosk is super, super good. He's still very, very good. If you can nail your timings with your snares with Bosk. and it's all about snaring the enemy when they're just within range of your turret, and then allowing units like a sand trooper or a probe droid or a dewback to just go absolutely ham on all of those units that are stuck in place. It works extremely well. So got my play pack there, that's awesome. So far so good, we've made some progress up the ladder with this deck. Fernando says, I love your vids, keep up the great work, buddy. Thank you, Fernando, I appreciate it. I appreciate all your comments on my videos and everything, really appreciate it. Adam says, skills. I don't know, man, I've got some skills. But I have been struggling to get into Kyber. I haven't been able to put in the amount of time into playing. Did I queue up with the right deck here? Let me make sure I queued up with the right deck. Yeah, I did. I've been putting in I haven't been able to put in as much time into playing 1v1s and grinding up the ladder as I would like. So it's something that I'm working on. And while we're queuing up for the next game, everybody's watching live. If you could do me a solid, and everybody like this particular stream. This stream will become a video later, and the majority of my subscribers will see this video later. You guys give this stream a thumbs up. It helps this video actually show up in people's feeds. For people that do not, there's literally no stream delay. That's awesome. For people that have not enabled notifications on my channel, I've mentioned this a number of times, but if you don't enable notifications, you're gonna miss my videos. Just straight up, that's the way YouTube works now. So enable notifications, and also, you know, the more engagement and minutes watched that videos get on YouTube, the more likely it is for YouTube to suggest those same videos to existing subscribers. So he's got a Grenadier here. I'm just gonna keep pronouncing it Grenadier. I'm gonna stop asking you guys how I should be pronouncing it. I'm just gonna say it the way I wanna say it. I like using Missile Strike. I think it's pretty fun against enemy structures, especially when there's stuff in the area. This is a pretty fun little time to use Slave 1. Gonna do some damage to this Cassian. And okay, here we go. Whoa, 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 back. Need to be very, very careful here. And I'm hoping this light tank didn't quite slide into range for me to be able to deal with it. There's the Gonk droid. Cool, I figured that's what would be in that bottom lane. And taking out the light tank, beautiful. And my MTV7 will roll up this lane, and just time to collect some health packs. All we're gonna do, we're just gonna continue to defend. Got some freebie damage here on this bottom structure, I'll take it. And enemy is bringing in lots of support packs, which should allow him to be a bit more aggressive. And speaking of aggressive, I can have a little fun here and deal a little Missile Strike if I wanted to. Missile Strike, hey there, how do you do? Fun little Missile Strike, friendly Missile Strike, we'll say. And okay, here comes the pressure that you really need from decks that are like this. They increase their attack speed. I'm going to focus his hero. This is a great time to use a Slave 1 because he's going to start running. And there's the explosion, and ended up taking him out, which is awesome. But I don't have any energy to counterattack. So I'm just going to sit back and I'm going to defend. In the past, I would have counterattacked, and I would have tried to take down this turret on the right-hand side or in the bottom lane, and I would have been punished for that. And that's something that I really don't like, pressuring and then not being able to take down structures quickly, and then essentially losing the game because I got too aggressive. So I'm just sending a little bit of units into this bottom lane. I'm saving for the most part to be able to defend. And that's what I'm going to continue to do. I always want to keep my energy close to topped off so that I can counter push as effectively as possible. So, does he have a Grenadier back there? Yes, he does. So this is a perfect time for a Slave 1, and then a Sand Trooper, and then a Missile Strike combo, forcing the enemy to pull back. I'm going to drop a dewback here up front, and I'm going to save the rest of my energy no matter what happens to be able to defend against whatever he throws in here to counter push me. And here's a great time for a stun. I'll take out his enemy hero, but I'm not going to be able to push in on his base. I actually got too aggressive there. I almost got punished for being too aggressive there. And if he takes me out, he might be able to win this game. So I need to be very, very careful with my positioning. Maybe get a quick Missile Strike in here. There it is, dealing some turret damage. But just need to hang back, wait for these health packs to come back. and just continue to use this defensive and sort of semi-passive strategy to my advantage. Yes, that was maybe a little bit of an aggressive Slave 1, but I wanted to take out the Grenadier on the back lines because that Grenadier can cause major problems for me. And what does he drop in here? It's a Gonk Droid. Perfect. I'll use Stormtroopers, take that out. And right now we're moving into overtime. I might get a draw. I'm not really too concerned about it. Draw is fine. I will take the draw. I'll collect my play points. I'll get my pack. I'm not going to take a loss here. And here's the deck that this enemy was using. He's a little bit lower level than me. His cards are a little bit lower level. He played quite well. Interesting little hybrid deck here. It's very, very defensive. He's got Gonk to split push. He's got Hyper Adrenal to pressure. And then he's got turrets to defend, probably obviously anticipating an AT-ST. And he's got Ion Mine for their area of effect clear and Grenadier. I feel that this deck that the enemy used here with Rook is too area of effect centric. With Grenadiers as well as Ion and the Hyper Adrenal, I'm just not seeing that that deck is really well balanced. I think that he needs maybe one more single target damage option in that deck. It just seemed too kind of utility focused. So there you go. What is better, Dengar's deck with MTV or Probe Droid in a level 9 or Dewback level 3 in a Dengar deck? That's a good question. My preference with Dengar, I haven't tested Dewback with Dengar, but I can tell you in the past, Dengar is my favorite Empire hero. I'm waiting to get him to level 2. In the past, when I've combined Probe Droid with Dengar, it works out extremely well. Simply because Probe Droid does a better job of gathering enemy units in closer, kind of passively, because it's slower, and it doesn't necessarily engage anyone. And so when you can do that, you can couple that with your Dengar grenade toss, which only does 250% damage. It's slightly less than Boba Fett's, but that combo works extremely well. Dewback is more of a aggressive defensive option, if you will. It engages a bit better, and I find Dengar to be a very, very passive counterplay focused hero, trying to capitalize on enemy mistakes. And I think that Probe Droid might be stronger for Dengar. Maybe I can test Dewback and maybe I'll be proven completely wrong, but I like being able to group up enemies with Probe Droid with him to take them out quickly. So then you can, once you clear out the enemy squad around those Rebel Legendaries, you can, let's see what he's doing. Is he about to get super aggressive? He does get super aggressive, dropping the light vehicle here. Gonna drop the Sand Trooper in here as well, and also the Stormtroopers. And he's gonna try to kill me early. And that was a really, really nice aggressive push. Sand Trooper getting work done though. Ooh, those Sand Trooper shots doing so much damage. And that was a big early game push, and it looks like he didn't get any real damage in on my structure. So I'm going to do that missile strike. Dewback here is going to do great. I'm going to take out his units here on the back line. And yes, he's wrecking up my base, but here's the counter push that I was looking to do. And now I can do damage to his structure, and let's do it. Now I'm hoping, you know, the hope in all these situations is that you can get some nice counter damage in there, and the enemy dies. So this is going to be a very, very aggressive play from the enemy here. Missile strike to take out the majority of what he has. And now this time, since he's focusing me, there is the pickup in that lane. Those troopers are not going to do that much damage in the top lane. So I'm going to give some supporting damage to this structure, simply because I know that we can take it out. There it is. It's dead. I'm now going to back up and heal up, because he's going to probably do yet another all-in push in this lane, and which is where Dewback is going to come in handy. And now we're going to stun him now that he's on our structure, and we're going to be able to defend against this pretty darn well. And with Dewback pushing up this lane and all this stuff pushing up this lane, just going to sit back and continue to defend. And if I have the opportunity, I will throw a MTV-7 light vehicle in the top lane if I need to, and he's gonna jump in here again. He's like, you know what? I'm just gonna make it happen. And I'm Boba Fett, man. Like, I'm Boba Fett. I can do bonus damage to leaders. Did you not know that? Everybody's dead now. Sorry, man. So we're going to drop Dewback in the top lane, and now we've got a dual lane pressure type of situation. And now he has to deal with... oh, he's suiciding. Oh, boy. Maybe that was a mistake. That might have been a mistake. So there it is. He's dead. There's the light vehicle counter push in the top lane. And I might have made a mistake there, friends. That might have been a big mistake. Hopefully Sand Trooper will be able to clear out the majority of these units. And I was really hoping to drop my Stormtrooper. There we go. There's that light vehicle counter push in the top lane I was talking about. My Stormtrooper, I was hoping to drop that before I died there. Sucks. Didn't get to do that. And I don't know why I just dropped Dewback in the top lane. That doesn't make any sense. So let's just drop the Slave 1 here. Combo that with a Missile Strike. Okay, I picked up the GG there, but that very, very aggressive strategy that enemy was using kind of confused me for a moment, to be perfectly honest. I almost blew it. I almost blew it by getting too aggressive myself. So GG to this enemy. That was actually a pretty cool little rush deck that he had. Let's see what he had. He had his unique with... okay, he had his unique, he had light vehicle for the tanking, obviously. Light vehicle is necessary. High level cards. This is a high level guy, or a high level account, rather. And Twilight flamethrowers are something that are, I see really used very intermittently. And I don't know, I don't really like Twilight flamethrowers. I think that instead of those flamethrowers, he'd be probably better serviced by using a Grenadier. And his single target damage was pretty on point. And I would prefer with his deck, if I were playing as him, instead of using something like X-Wing, I would use Ion Mine so that you can zone as you're pressuring. That'd be my preference. You drop that Ion Mine in on the area that you're pressuring into. When you do that, it forces the enemy to walk outside the Ion Mine, taking them out of combat for as long as possible, allowing you to just go ham on the enemy base. That'd be my suggestions on how we could change that deck. But I've seen a number of suggestions. You guys are discussing it on the stream right now. The death timer with Dengar all day. You're netting at the buzzer. Yeah, a lot of you guys have been saying that for the first death in this game, you should be punished a bit more, like maybe an extra second or two for your first death. And then in subsequent deaths down the road, there should be like a cap of like 4 extra bonus seconds down the road. I agree. I think that your first death in this game should be punished more, just maybe by an extra second. So that suiciding early game is actually a detriment to you. And as it stands right now with pressure decks, with aggro decks, it's actually beneficial for you just to die early in the game. There's going to be virtually no consequences. So you suicide, maybe you do 20 to up to 50% damage to that enemy structure. Sometimes you end up winning that turret all together with a suicide strategy, and then you respawn in no time to defend. That doesn't seem fair. You shouldn't be able to be extremely aggressive and then be able to instantaneously defend at the same time. That just is wrong. It just seems kind of broken. There needs to be a punishment there for that. And maybe it could be even something as dynamic as if you die within the first minute, you get an extra death penalty. Maybe rather than just dying for the first time is an extra death penalty. I don't know. Just some creative ideas to help deal with some of those heavy pressure decks. And what is he throwing this way? He's just got a Grenadier here, so I'm going to throw some Stormtroopers in the other lane, mix it up a little, and I'm going to take his unit down. Looks like we both kind of mirrored each other's actions there. No problem. Stormtrooper's just going to fly up that lane, do some fun stuff. Not going to get too aggressive right now. And we'll just missile strike this. Dewback, getting work done. We're good. We're good right now. I'm going to drop light vehicle in the top lane because it looks like he's doing a little extra pressure here. And with that taunt, I'm fine to punish that taunt. Okay, here's a Slave 1. Yep, thank you for targeting me. Thank you very much. The majority of his fodder units there got killed, and this is actually going to be kind of rough. We're going to stun. We're just kind of delaying the inevitable here. I'm hoping to take down this light tank, and there's the missile strike, and that's the advice that you guys have been giving me. I make these videos to help you guys out, but you guys have been advising me, tank damage from the light tank. Don't let your turret take the damage from the light tank, and you will win. Okay, Dewback Trooper. Beautiful stuff. Gonna drop down my Sand Trooper here, which should be able to take care of the majority of the enemy fodder that's in place. And, okay, we're gonna do pretty good. So I'm just gonna kite this Wookiee. Hey, Wookiee, come over here. Hey, hey. Come on, you're gonna slash my structure, man? That is in poor taste. That is in very, very poor taste. I'll be honest with you, man. I did not respect that whatsoever. So he's waiting for me to make a move. So I'm gonna drop down light vehicle here in the bottom lane. He's waiting for me to make a move. See what he does here. He's dropping his own Grenadier here in the top lane. So I'm going to do a fun little... Okay, and there's his taunting option. I'm going to throw some minions in the top lane while he's doing this big pressure move here in the bottom lane. And we're going to see if we can defend. I'm doing some damage to his top structure, but not a lot, which is fine. And this is a perfect time to use Slave 1. And coupling that with Missile Strike is beautiful. And... able to take down a lot of what he had there. And what we're going to try to do is drop down MTV-7 light vehicle in the top lane. See if we can get some pot shots in on that structure. MTV-7 light vehicles damage is really, really great. It's single target damage. And we took out the turret. Boom, there it is. Big, big early game pressure. I love it. Or, I'm sorry, big, fast pressure damage. And I need to be very careful not to let all of this kill me. So this is why I have so many area of effect options to deal with those dual lane pressure pushes. You guys can see it, right? At no point in that game did I really enter enemy territory. I was just able to hang back and to defend and to do pretty well. So we're doing good in this video. This is good. Let's take a look at his deck. This is a pretty standard. Cassian deck. Cassian's unique, K2SO. You guys are asking, should you use this card? Yup. It's amazing for defending. It's like a cheaper version of Chewbacca on Han's side 2, less cost. Light Vehicle and Wookiee, I totally agree with those. I agree with Rebel Troopers and Grenadier, and I also agree with Pathfinders. He may be well suited to add something like an Ion Mine to this deck. I might consider swapping out either Rebel Troopers or Marauders for an Ion Mine, which would allow him to get some faster clear, some more effective zoning, so that he can do those really nice counter pushes. Also, he could consider a turret if he's running into a decent number of AT-STs. I was able to throw those light vehicles in the top lane, and I was really able to pressure him there. If he had had turrets in place, I wouldn't have had that fast, aggressive option available. Sweet, we've got over 100 people watching on the live stream. Thanks everybody for tuning in. That's great. Yeah, so on the channel right now, I'm trying to do a balance of me recording those kind of at-home videos where I kind of talk specifically about an individual card or deck or strategy, and then I want to mix it up with doing these live streams as well so I can interact with you guys live. Question from Iris is, what card should I use if I do not have Slave 1? Consider TIE Fighter. Yeah, the suggestions there from the community are right. TIE Fighter is a decent replacement option. It's about the same cost. TIE Fighter is very good. It's very, very good. And people are like, should I use TIE Bomber instead? I don't recommend TIE Bomber, except for if you're Grand Moff Tarkin. I think the knockback on TIE Bomber is dangerous. Generally speaking, you want to, with Boba Fett, you want to have everybody grouped together, so that when you use your missile strike, you're able to maximize your damage, that area of effect damage, with your missile strike, and TIE Bomber is going to spread everybody out once the explosion happens. Not really what you're looking for. You're looking to pull everybody together, oops, so that you can missile strike them and maximize damage. Darth Maul would be nice. Why the hell do you stream? Why the hell don't I stream on Twitch instead? It's much more watchable. I don't stream on Twitch because that would require me to build 2 channels at the same time. I don't have enough time to do that. I really don't. And I'd rather kind of centralize my audience on one channel and be able to bring all of you guys together here, build a really great community on one channel, and then that way I can, whenever I do fire up a live stream here, ooh, wow, okay, this should be interesting. He is getting very, very aggressive. I'm going to use a little missile strike on him. There we go. Let him know who's boss. And this should be a relatively easy, we'll see, counter push here. Look at those bladesmen getting work done. Taking him out. That's beautiful. I don't think that we're going to be able to do much damage to the structure. I'm not even going to walk in there and make myself vulnerable to that one. Probably going to throw a grenadier here in a minute. But I'll get some freebie bonus damage, if you will, off of that one. Slave one time, friends. There it is, gathering everybody together. Missile strike combo. Countering everything for that beautiful 3 cost. Ooh, light vehicle. There we go. Got it. Got it, got it, got it. And we'll drop down Sand Trooper positioning was a little bit rough there. So this is the point where I might be able to do a big counter push. Got it. And this is where we're going to push in on their base. We'll hopefully be able to pick up this turret. His death timer hopefully will be long enough to where we can get this. There it is. Got it. Count it. And at this point, we're going to be focusing on defense. So Dewback Trooper is going to deal with those mob units. They're throwing my direction. And I'll hop back in the game here. And yep, bye-bye. Back on up. Take that bonus damage. And now we're just going to defend. We've got a minute and 10. Maybe we can defend against this hero. We'll see. Oh no! I was looking at chat. That was a shame. I was looking at chat and this light vehicle just got free damage in on my structure. That was not what I wanted to see at all. Well, regardless, we were able to defend, and let's move in on this structure. So here we go. Hopefully we'll be able to pick this one up. I'm going to use my missile strike here to try to burst it. There it is. And then I'm going to back. Let's drop a little Dewback Trooper in here. Ooh, that Grenadier is dealing some pretty serious damage to me. I'm going to save the majority of my energy here. I'm going to drop light vehicle on the back lines, and we're just going to defend. So now he's got to make a decision. He's probably going to want to pressure bottom lane as much as possible. I do have 2 light vehicles here. I'm going to actually add a Sand Trooper here to it to help with the defensive effort. And the dual vehicle action in that top lane is going to be hard for him to deal with. Only a couple seconds left, and as you can see there, because I moved past the bridge, I moved into the danger zone, if you will. I put myself in a vulnerable position. I mean, had he had another 10 seconds or so, he probably could have picked that up because I put myself out there. You need to be very careful. Anytime I cross that bridge, I need to be going in to attack a turret, to be using a missile strike, or to be pulling back to defend once more. The flamethrower that you get from Boba Fett is so good for defense. It really is. Okay, so far so good. With this deck, you guys can see it's very effective. Hopefully you guys are kind of learning from my playstyle and my mistakes and when I'm vulnerable and not. Yes, here we go. Level 3 Dewback. Let's do it. See it on both screens. Oh, you didn't get to see it on that screen. No. Screenception. Oh, man. Okay, cool. That dude gave up. Yeah, it looked like he did give up, but, you know, I've been in a lot of situations like that where I'll go up early because I counter-pushed really effectively with Boba Fett, and then I'll get really bold. I'll be like, I'm going to take down a shield generator. I'm going to start marching up that lane. Drop a Dewback Trooper. I've already got a vehicle there and a Sand Trooper. I'm going to win. And then he effectively defends, he kills me, he pushes in and wrecks me. And then now we're in overtime, and now I'm on my heels. Can I do a 2v2 with this deck? Sure. Do up with the 2v2. I don't have ATST, so we'll see what happens. We'll see how unbearably long this Dewback Trooper hype. We'll see how unbearably long this queue time is for 2v2. We'll see. In the past, it's been extremely long for me. I actually haven't tested this deck in 2v2. So while we're waiting for queue to pop, I'll answer some of your questions in chat. In the past, it's been a couple-minute queue time, which is fine. Every character in Star Wars Force Arena is canon, right? I'm not sure. Is that true? I'm not sure about that. I agree. I would like to see R2-D2 and C-3PO in this game. That would be really fun. Maybe C-3PO could, like, communicate with some moisture. I don't know. Moisture farms. Do some bonus moisture damage. Maybe R2-D2 can do that as well. Project some hologram messages from people and confuse leaders. Get them to just stand there and just look at the hologram message. while it's telling them important things about the rebellion, and bam, you take them out while they're distracted. That could be some really epic gameplay. You usually have to wait about 2 minutes in queue, says Keefe. Okay, cool. I'm okay with a 2-minute queue. I'm definitely all right with that. If I'm the president, who is the vice president? That's an easy question to answer. VP MF Pallytime. If you guys are familiar with the YouTuber MF Pallytime, he's big in Heroes of the Storm. A friend of mine, I work with him with TGN. He is officially my vice president. He'll move in between that and Secretary of Marketing roles in my cabinet. Just some old jokes on Squadron. That's where the President Awall thing came from. Whenever I'd hop into live streams, MF Pallytime would say things like, Mr. President, oh my God, it's the president. And then people just kind of latched onto it. So that's where kind of President Awall came from, was from TGN Squadron live streams. Very imaginative on my R2-D2 idea. Yeah, developers, if you're watching, I'm telling you what, I've got card design down, baby. Yeah, throw up holograms and like show. Imagine putting that in the trailer. Use epic abilities. Throw up hologram of Princess Leia. Help me, Obi-Wan. While like units are just staring at it, and then they get sniped by Cassian. Good stuff. All right, cool. Let's see if we can. I have not played 2v2 with this deck, so don't know if it's gonna work. This deck is not pooled for 2v2 whatsoever. So we'll see what we can do there. Gonna drop my Slave 1 here, and this should be able to pick up a huge amount of damage. Boom, there it is. Excellent. And taking out their Leia. Once again, enemies could care less about whether they die early game. So that continues to be the case, absolutely. There's a bunch of stuff here in the bottom lane, so I might help my ally out here and defend. And let's just drop a missile strike. Beautiful. I'm going to drop a light vehicle in the top lane to defend against this stuff. And, oof, I actually let them do too much damage to my structure there. That was problematic. So, I'll drop down Slave 1 right here. Maybe the Han will run into it. Nope, he did not run into it. But at least the Rebel Honor Guard went down. And Rebel is not, like, completely not viable, if you will, in 2v2s. It's just, it's at a little bit of a disadvantage. My Dewback really just bucking on that Han Solo. You saw him attacking him there. I love that Dewback animation. Just bucks up and just nails people. My leader's defeated. I'm hanging back and I'm going to be defensive here, and I'm going to try to counter push as much as possible. This is still a defensive deck, whether it's 2v2 or 1v1 or whatever. So I need to be very, very careful not to get overly aggressive. Going to drop my my stormtroopers here on the back line. Bam, there it is. Gonna drop my bladesman here in the top lane. Nice probe drop there from the enemy. This is gonna be a Slave 1. This is gonna be a nice Slave 1. What's up, Leia? How you doing? And we're gonna pressure this top lane and see what we can do. Gonna drop down a sand trooper. Actually, I'm gonna stay back and defend in case this Han gets very aggressive in this lane. And did we take the structure down? No, we didn't. That's a shame. Dewback Trooper here should be able to defend pretty well against that lane. Gonna drop down my vehicle here to tank damage in this lane. And Missile Strike, good stuff. And Han is gonna be forced to pull back. Need to go back up to the... Whoa, that's a lot of units. That's a big Slave 1, friends. Bam! Slave 1, getting it done. And Leia is getting very aggressive. Let's see. And I'm gonna drop Bladesman here. Ooh, and an ATST. We should be able to pick up that top lane. There it is, ATST running towards that turret. And if we pick that one up, and we can just defend here, we should be in good shape. So I'm going to drop down Dewback in that lane to kind of clog things up a bit. And that should work out pretty well. Oh no! Oh no! Okay, I was about to say, am I really going to let a light vehicle take this one from me? Good game, friends. Good game. Indeed. Alrighty. That was it. That was the W there in 2v2. So this deck clearly works in 2v2. Let's take a look at people's deck info. Got this player here, Midwest Doc, has some lower level cards, so I don't feel that that was really a great matchup. This guy was a part of Gluten Slayers Guild. Nice, fellow YouTuber. I'll give him a thumbs up for a fellow YouTubers Guild. And there's the decks, friends. 2v2 is really fun. It's fun, but I still stand by my comments of, 2v2 should be on its own separate ladder or have its own separate functionality, to be perfectly honest. And I think that also adding some PvE elements to team up in this game could add a lot of variety. I'm going to throw the deck up on the screen one more time. This is it. It works pretty damn well. This is a great 1v1 deck. Happy Valentine's Day to all of you. Thank you all for watching. Give the stream a thumbs up. And if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, do it. And please enable notifications to ensure that you see my videos. I'm going to throw up avatar and some stuff on the screen right now because this will become a video later. Thank you everyone who tuned in live. I've got some more of my content there. I'm releasing daily tips and strategy videos for this game. I need to go to work, so I'm going to go do that right now. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one, friends. Adios, amigos. Bye-bye.